Sci Access, May 11, 2024. Creation of accessible astronomical dance theater play, Artificial Eclipse. Erika Fabiola Labbe Waghorn, Carlos Acevedo.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everyone. My name is Erika. Me and Carlos, we are from Chile. I am an astronomer. I work as an outreach coordinator in the Instituto de Estudios Astrofísicos, Universidad Diego Portales. Today, well, I'm a Latina middle-aged woman, and I have dark hair, brown eyes, and I will leave Carlos to introduce himself. Carlos, preséntate.
Hola, soy Carlos Acevedo, soy asesor en accesibilidad de la Fundación IDABA en Chile. Ahora me presento, me describo un poco para el público. Soy una persona de mediana edad, cabello negro, ojos cafés, y visto ahora con un suéter azul y una camisa de color claro.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Acevedo. I'm a consultant for accessibility of the IDABA Foundation. I'm a middle-aged man with black hair, brown eyes, and I'm wearing a blue sweater today and pants.
Okay, so I'm going to present you in a presentation, which means it looks like a big board when different pieces of information we are going to navigate from one to another. And well, in the middle of the image, there is something that looks like a theater because I wanted to put some images to make the ambience. And there is different bubbles in yellow and white colors around to make contrast. And we're going to navigate every piece of information. First of all, I wanted to tell you, let me see if I can move it. Oh, no. Yeah, well, sorry. That was the end. First of all, I want to tell you that in the Instituto de Estudios Astrofísicos, we've been working in two main branches of outreach. One of them, inclusive astronomy, and the other, astronomical art from the 2016, both of them. And in the 2022, we managed to make them, merge them together and in some transdisciplinary experience. And I'm going to tell you today about one of them, which is a very amazing piece of play of dance theater called Eclipse Artificial Eclipse. This was done last year. We collaborated on the creation of this multisensorial dance and theater play based on the solar eclipse, actually, that we have here in Chile, the 2019, 2020, 2021. And we worked to make it accessible to BVI and hearing impaired people. And the complete name is Artificial Eclipse, a multisensory dance play by Collectiva Analemma. That's the group of people, the team that make this play. In the picture of the background, there's a picture of the play where you can see a structure, a metal structure holding a very big screen, a round screen about 4 meters wide. And in front of it, there is the silhouette of the three dancers that play this display. So the team. For the team, it was composed of young artists and scientists. And it was a triple challenge in the sense that they have to teach astronomy through art in an inclusive way. And again, dance, it seems so inaccessible like astronomy for blind and visually impaired people. So it was a big challenge, but they were very happy to take it and work for it. And here we can see a picture of most of the team, me included, with the dancers, the designers, sound engineers, astronomer, journalists, filmmaker, and the director, of course, Olema. That's their name. So we work the inclusion in the creation process through introductory workshops for the team. You know, I tell them about everything that I've been learning about accessibility. We work with a blind Carlos and a deaf Javiera advisors. We had the chance to work with them because they were working with us in another project, the funding project. And because of that, we were able to invite them to work with them for a couple of hours in meetings and stuff like that. And Carlos was very active in this collaboration. We also make some sensibilization experience, like a dance workshop at Bibliociegos, where the team, the dancers, were making this workshop for the users of Bibliociegos, a library for the blind people in Chile. And in that experience, the dancers also learned about the visual impairment, so it was very helpful for them. And we also use some surveys, especially for, well, this kind of events, this sensibilization experience, but also for the play itself. They have a couple of surveys at the beginning and at the end. And there in the picture, there's a flyer that we use for this workshop dance in Bibliociegos. And now I'm going to let you with Carlos Acevedo. He will tell us what is in this diapositiva. Carlos, adelante con la diapositiva de 5.
Bien, ahora vamos a hablar sobre los aportes realizados por mi persona y por la asesora Javiera.
Okay, now we are going to talk about the contributions that me and Javiera made.
El primer aporte es que el intérprete en lengua de señas debe estar cerca de la acción.
First one is that the sign interpreter must be close to the action.
El segundo aporte es que se debe evitar hablar del guión mientras se está danzando para evitar distraer el foco de atención.
Second thing is to avoid scripts while dancing so we don't distract the visual focus.
El tercer aporte tiene que ver con la descripción de los personajes y del vestuario al inicio de la obra.
The third one talks about the description of the characters and what are they wearing at the beginning.
El cuarto aporte tiene que ver con establecer un stand de mediación donde se trabaje material táctil relacionado con astronomía y también existan retazos de la tela con la cual se construyó el vestuario.
Fourth one is to have a mediation with tactile models of the astronomical subject and samples of the clothing fabrics.
El último aporte tiene que ver con, al momento de estar realizándose la danza, no es necesario describirla completamente, pues hay que dejar a la imaginación también de las personas con discapacidad lo que está sucediendo en el escenario.
Something else to have in mind is that there is no need to describe every movement during the dance because we need to let people use their imagination.
Y finalmente, ustedes pueden ver una imagen donde está mi compañera asesora Javiera con el equipo trabajando.
Finally, you can see my consultor colleague Javiera working with the team in the picture.
Muy bien. So, next thing I want to tell you is the experience of the team and performers with this inclusion process. It was the first time for some of them. Some of them have some experience, but not as intense as this one. And for them, well, it was accepted as a challenge. It was something that they wanted to do, first of all. At some point, they felt that it was complex to meet all the requirements for each audience, because it is. We know it is. But they understood that with the abstract element that dance and theater have, they could actually include different audiences. It was very interesting process because they get very creative ideas, like, I don't know, using a rock as a moon. In some part of the play, they took the rock, they show it, but they also go to the public to let them touch the rock and try to imagine the texture of the moon. you know they use different methods, different things. They were very creative on this, and they work a lot in the sense that they figured out how to make all these surveys, how to make all these trainings of themselves, with the bibliociegos users. And actually, they said that the previous interaction with the people at bibliociegos, it was crucial for everything that they could learn and then apply to the play. And here in the picture, you can see an image of the dancers in rehearsal. They are already during the night. This play was done during the night, outside, actually, under the sky. So you can see them in the night with their pilate balls, very big pilate balls, like they use as the sun, the moon, and the earth. And in the picture, you can see them in the rehearsal. So other elements that we use in the play, and they believe that they also were helpful for the accessibility, is, well, first of all, they use an emotional approach because they took letters that they have collected in the first of this eclipse, the 2018, where they asked people who just saw the eclipse, please write in a letter, what do you feel? And they were very emotional and very powerful letters. People are relating the eclipse with their own, personal experience. And in the picture, you can see actually the letters writing in ink, but also in braille. So people can go to this optic stand and read letters in both systems, And also, well, you can see in the picture, there is also this book about eclipse that you had in the state in the 2017, and then NASA did again for the eclipse in the South America, 2018, and we have them also. So we use both elements and some other in this optic stand. They also, for make information more approachable, they have each stage of the eclipse was very marked with information. Every time there is a new stage, like a totality or the diamond rings, etc. They mark the beginning of that state, so people could follow very well what is happening in the stage. They use sound and visual codes like this. They clip, how do you know how to say this? They make this sound with their hands, meaning stars, and they tell that code to the people at the beginning of the play. They use music based on sonification of astronomical image. That is also something that one of the people of the team, who is an astronomer and a sound engineer, work on that for the play. And they use diversity of moods. They have moments very relaxed, some other moments very happy and crazy. They mix everything, and the play was very easy to follow because of that. You were completely immersed in that experience. And they use also the sense of humor, which is always good for science communication and for everything else. So about the public, they had 7 performances with 615 attendees, more or less. They had these surveys where the previous one was responded by 3,342 people, and the post survey, it was answered by 87 people. of all of them, 18 people said that they had disabilities. 8 of them were physical, 1 auditory, 3 visual, 2 others disability, and 4 of them neurodivergence. And for all the publics, the most noticed inclusion element was the music. You know, they realized the music was something that make accessible the work. Also the description, it was very clear that they were describing themselves and everything. The sign language interpreter, of course, tactile models, that pauses in dance for a script in order not to distract the focus, everything, all that was noticed. And for the conclusions, I will let you again with Carlos. Carlos, por favor, las conclusiones.
Bien, dentro de las conclusiones, primero diremos que esto ha sido una primera experiencia y desde ella podemos concluir lo siguiente.
Okay, as a conclusion, I will say this was a first for us, and the following.
La primera conclusión es que la accesibilidad para personas con discapacidad visual fue bien lograda.
First one, accessibility for BVI people was well accomplished.
Una segunda conclusión es que podemos mejorar aún más la accesibilidad hacia las personas con discapacidad auditiva. Eso es lo que creemos.
Second one, we can improve the accessibility for deaf people.
La tercera conclusión es que creemos que la comunicación científica fue bien lograda dentro de la obra.
Third, we believe that science communication was well accomplished.
La cuarta conclusión, los elementos dramatúrgicos y de danza utilizados permitieron tener una diversidad de público.
Next, the dance elements and dramaturgical elements allow for the inclusion of a diversity of audiences.
Y finalmente, la interacción con la comunidad de personas ciegas también permitió tener una buena accesibilidad dentro de la obra, finalmente.
Finally, the interaction with BVI community was crucial for the play.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Well, before leaving, I will tell you that you can follow us in social media, for example, in Instagram. You can follow my work in Astro UDP, just like that. There is also the Fundación IDAVA. Fundación is right the same way that in English foundation, underscore IDAVA with a I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, but
IDAVA Foundation.
Thank you. And then there is a social media for a group of people who do inclusion in astronomy, astro.inclusiva. Can you help me, please?
Astro.inclusive, but in Spanish, so INCLUSIVA.
And then it's also the link for Colectivo Analemma. Can you help me?
Yes, and then we have at Colectivo Analemma, which is COLECTIVOANALEMMA.
And at the end, well, my email, Erika Labbe, is astrodiffusion@mail.udp.cl. Don't know if it's...
Yeah, I can help you spelling, but I can also tell them to read them on the screen because you can see the email of Erika there.
Yeah. Well, and for our Instagram, AstroUDP, you can also find a QR code in the screen if you want to follow us. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Anna. Thank you all the organization for having an interpreter for us. And well, we are ready for questions if we have time.
Sci Access. Learn more at www.sciaccess.org.